How you doing there, Gus?
Please don't talk to me. I'm having enough trouble just hanging on.
Okay, well, go slow. You're perfectly safe.
I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, any man who can trick my machine can do anything. How did you beat my defenses?
Well, those defenses are pretty good as long as the machine doesn't know it's in trouble. This time it didn't see the danger. I just went in there with a plain old can of acid. The machine didn't know that when that stuff gets hot enough, it'll eat through anything. Watch the trees. I guess it died of acid indigestion.
But what's going to happen to Rasta Boss and the other two ladies?
Well, they're going to have to see the police now. It's not your problem anymore.
Whoa! Are we the troublers yet?
Nope. I'm just going to make a little stop. Right over there.
You've lived your problems right out in the open. You've been honest and candid about them.
Yes, I have.
You've talked about drugs and your use of drugs.
Yeah.
The situation around which the fire resulted and so forth. In your mind, have you cleared that up to the satisfaction of the public? Do you feel it's beating it over the head now to discuss it any further?
I don't know about beating it over the head. I just know this, that drugs, most of the things that have happened to me in my life, Richard has done to himself. Do you understand? Most of them, all of them. You know, because the life's been good to me. I wouldn't let it be. I found I wanted to have the suffer of the artist, you know, and I went about trying to find it, you know, through drugs, because I wanted to be a part of. I never felt connected to anything or anybody, and I never knew how to love, especially myself. I didn't know about that. You know, I'm a romantic person. I like to be romantic, but I don't necessarily like being in love, because I really don't understand that.
You don't like being loved?
No, being loved was real hard. When my mates would love me back, we'd have real difficulty. You know, and I know that now, and I see it. I mean, I've got to grow enough to understand that. And this life's a little more complicated, or not as complicated. Maybe I say not as complicated as we make it sometimes. And drugs for me was a panacea. You know, it removed all the pain, all the questions, all the doubt. It made me feel sure of myself. Even when I wasn't, I felt like I knew I could go on forever. And then at a point, the drugs didn't work anymore. And I was still alive to have to deal with that thing we all have inside of us, ourselves.
You mean the drugs didn't work anymore because they didn't give you relief?
No, they didn't. It just got to a point where it just was misery, depression, down, to this vacuum. Hell. If there's a hell, I've been there. There's a hell. And the devil turned out to be me. You know, turned out to be yourself. Because I thought about, at one point, look at the opportunity I've been given to do so much. And whatever I end up doing, I got a bass pipe in my hand and fifth of Cavassier in the other. In a room all alone by myself, loving no one and doubting if anyone loved me.
Have you conquered the problem of drugs and alcohol?
I haven't conquered it. I don't do them anymore. A day at a time.
You take it a day at a time?
And hopefully the rest of my life I won't do any. But a day at a time. Today I'm sober and drug-free.
What about love? You say that you can't love. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know how yet. I mean, I'm a little bit. I'm starting a little bit. You know what I'm saying? For real. Not just to say it, but to reach out and touch. I remember times when I didn't like, you couldn't touch me. You know, it would be real uncomfortable if you just did that to me. Yeah, I don't like that. You know?
Have you ever thought about the possibility or the theory that when you do get to your kind of creative level, that you don't really have that much left emotionally? Is that a possibility? That you give so much to creating all of that?
That's a good like excuse to keep from living. I mean, thank you. If I ever need that,
you have one.
Okay. I'll use that. No, it doesn't stop you. I mean, being an artist didn't save me from myself, you know. No, I don't think that's true. No matter what you are or who you are or what you do, there's a you that you must deal with eventually. If that makes any sense, I feel.
Had you embraced God before the fire?
I hadn't embraced God. I believed in God. You know, I mean, God has been with me most of my life. I mean, my grandmother, I used to go to all kind of churches, Catholic, Baptist, Salvation Army. I used to go to Salvation Army and beat the drum. I mean, so I've always had, I mean, that's pulled me through. I mean, God, the religion, I mean, just the strength from my parents on that, you know. Sometimes when all else was nothing else there, was that. God was there. And especially when I was in the hospital, you know, God really came through for me.
How did it happen? What were your experiences?
Just being in touch, surrendering to the fact that I was powerless over drugs and alcohol, to surrender. That's a hard thing to do for any person, I believe. Just to surrender. I mean, I've quit a lot in my life. I'd stopped doing this for a while and stopped doing that for a while. But just to stop everything, to surrender, to admit to yourself, God, I need your help. I can't do this alone. It was hard. But if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be sober today. I think I'd be out there again.
With Indigo Productions, your own company, you now are going to have the possibility, I might say the awesome possibility, of presenting rather to the movie industry a genre and a kind of film that America's never had. How do you feel about that challenge?
I didn't know what I was getting into. That's how I feel. Had I known what I was getting into, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have this company. I wouldn't at all.
What has happened that has soured you?
I just living, people, what it is, you know. I came in with an idea, and it's not that anymore. It's a business. It really is. It's a business. You do movies and you make movies, and all that talk is talk, but it really boils down to business. You got to get a good script. You got to get the right people, whoever they are. You got to get them to do it and to make it run. And I came in with a little naive about it. I thought certain things were going to happen, and it turned out to be something else.
What did you want to see happen? What was your naivete about?
I thought, me and you sit and talk. We say, let's do a movie about why. That's what we do. I didn't know we'd have to go to A first, you know, and then talk it to death, and plan it to death. You know, I just want it done. And right now I'm real confused about it. I just know that the only reason I'm keeping this company is the fact that something good will come out of it. Hopefully Chuck and George will put together some good films and make them work like that. You know, because what I like to do is just create myself. I really do. I don't like sitting in the office telling people yes and telling people no. I don't like making decisions. I like hiding.
What about the controversy about your change in command? Jim Brown was now where Chuck Smiley is, and various other people, and you made a change. Some people have been critical of that change. Would you give us the benefit of actually what did happen?
No, I will not. I will say that other people, it's awful easy to lead someone else's life. It always has been. And people will find that the best way the rest of their lives, most people. What someone should have did, or they should have, and they shouldn't have. I don't concern myself with that. You know? It's the business is working and running, and it's functioning, and we're going to make movies, and I'm happy about that.
And as far as that's concerned, the change you made has put it on the course you wanted.
Yes.
And that's the end of that.
I'm comfortable.
Will you star in any of these movies?
No.
This is a 5-package deal?
Yeah. No, these movies I won't have anything to do with starring in them, no. It wouldn't be much point in that. It wouldn't help anybody if I starred in them. You know, I'd like to see other people in them. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, the people, they're putting together some great ideas for a lot of people, and that makes me happy. That's the only good thing about this. Maybe one of them will be successful, too. That would be super.
One of your stated objectives for Indigo was to hire more blacks, more minorities, I think.
Yes.
Are you still going to be able to do that? Is that still one of your primary objectives?
Primary objective is to make a movie that makes money. You know, and we're going to incorporate people that don't usually get an opportunity to be in the movies, do the movies, and do the things they want. And yes, that is black people, definitely. But that's not going out and say, come on, all you black people, come on in. That's not it. That's not realistic. No, but we're putting movies together. Black people will be in front of the camera and behind the camera.
What about your trip to Africa?
It was fun. That was interesting for me. It was real interesting.
What did you learn there?
What did I learn? I learned I was definitely from Peoria. I learned that. It was funny because all the black people here were in the dreadlocks and the beaded hair, and they over there, they like us, they got the jerry curls and that platform shoes, and they're getting into the Western. I don't know what I learned. It'll come out someday, I guess. You know, I learned one thing real significant to me was about there wasn't any niggers. I learned that the best thing I learned there.
In what sense do you mean there weren't any niggers?
Just the word doesn't mean anything. It certainly shouldn't be used for people.
You used to use the word.
Oh yeah, I didn't know any better. And I wouldn't call another black man that ever.
The trip to Africa made that impression on you?
Yeah. We come from something real great. You know, we come from a fine people. We've done a lot. We got the world moving. You know, stuff that they're still learning from us that we use all over the world. When I say us, I mean us as black people. It's just all people, man. Just all people. That's real confusing. I don't understand that racism. I don't understand how it works so long. Why everybody adapted to it. Both the victim and the victimized seem to latch on to that. Take it like it's something precious. Don't want to let go of it. Either of us, either side. It's got this.
Your attempt to break out and let this Richard Pryor be the human person has also involved you having relationships with white women. Is that accurate?
Okay, if you want to put it that way.
Well,
yeah, I've had relationships with women who are white.
But there have been people, black women in particular, who criticized you and have said that there was a contradiction in having a black man having a relationship with a white woman.
That's what they said. That's what people, I remember my father used to say that. We all have, an opinion and an people are going to say, people like to, sometime in your life is empty, and it's nice to live it through somebody else. And I don't know what another man should be with that woman. Or, that's kind of sick if you see two people walking down the street and they look happy and you go, well, he should be with a woman much taller. Well, he shouldn't be wearing that suit. Should have on him. That's sick. You see people happy. You seldom you see them. Let them be happy. Rejoice for them. That's what I would think. But we again tend to always want to fight about the wrong things or get emotionally involved about something that wastes a lot of time instead of what's really bothering us. People don't want to deal with themselves, what hurts them. They don't even know most of the time anymore because they're so confused, get so many mixed messages, you know? Now it'd be very difficult for me, I believe, at this moment, to get in the kind of situations I used to be in anymore. Because I don't have the energy for it, to play it, you know, to act angry. I see myself doing it. Sometimes I start getting angry, and am I angry? No, you're acting angry. You're playing this game. I don't want to play it with my life anymore. People that I have relationships with were fine people, I think. I was lucky to meet them. When I had that thing with Jim, I never expected the reaction I got. Because I thought I was like holy. You know what I mean? I walk the water, right? You know. It's like, ducking and diving. What? You know, open my eyes up. Because I assumed something about the press and stuff. I just thought that, hey, this is reality. Life is real. And you can try to make it a fantasy and make it any way you want it. It's real. It ain't got nothing to do with what you make believe.
Are you and Jim still friends?
I think Jim loves me very much because I love him. And even though we ain't speaking, I know somewhere. Yeah. I got him in my heart.
He was really there when you needed him, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He gave me strength. You know, I wanted to show off for him. Every day I showed him how better I was getting.
In the hospital?
I wanted him to think I was strong like him. Yeah.
You said you didn't anticipate the wrath that you inherited as a result of making the changes in your Indigo Productions. What had you anticipated as a reaction?
I didn't think it would be in the papers.
Is that right?
I did the bravest thing I ever did that day. I sat here on this couch with Jim Brown. Whew, man, you don't know what that was like. Me and him in this office alone. He kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going, damn. What? Well, Mr. Brown, I just, oh God. I didn't know if I was going to get out of here alive, man. You see like that in the paper at me. I said, boy, they don't know.
So you were worried about getting past the meeting?
Hey, that's all I was thinking about. I got out there to the car lot and got in my car. I said,
The night during the fire, you are quoted as saying that you thought if you ran long enough, you would burst your heart, I think, and you would die.
yeah.
Did you think you were going to die, or did you want to die?
I think I was sick. Period. I don't know what I wanted. You know, well, I was in shock, out of my mind. I woke up in the hospital. I knew I was all right. Whatever happened, however I turned out, I was all right. I was alive. Made me appreciate life. I mean, I was glad that I was alive.
Did it pretty much, you think, put certain purity of your life behind you? That incident?
I thought it did. You know, when I was in the hospital, I got all these feelings of newness, feeling reborn, feeling, hey, I got a new life, I got a new chance. Here I am. Richard, you got people pour their hearts out to me, showed the appreciation for my life. People that didn't know me, didn't care about me necessarily as my actor even, just said as a person, man, don't want you to die, glad you're getting better. And I just felt all this tremendous stuff inside of me. I can't describe the feeling. It was just positive. When I come out of the hospital, I was new, brand new person, and I didn't know what to do. I got scared, being new. Didn't know where to go, where to turn. So I turned to my old ways, something familiar. I wasn't courageous enough just to keep stepping. I didn't know how then, I didn't know I had a problem. I didn't know things, but I've tried as best I could, and I just got scared, panicked, and I turned to drugs again. And suddenly, this came up on me slowly, and one day I was just realized I was back in the same thing again. I said, God ain't gonna save you again, Jack. You better get some help. And I did. But it was just a tremendous period of my life. I've got a lot out of it. Those feelings, euphoria, I just felt that everything was fine except real life. You know what I mean? In that hospital, it's easy to feel that. And you come out in the world, and the world's different. The next thing I knew, I was being swallowed up again by it.
Think it had something to do with the people around you?
It had to do with me. It was nobody's fault but mine. The people around me because of me. And then you get to people, when you get well, and you start removing yourself from the people that are hurting you. And it's a hard thing to do. It's hard for someone, other people out there trying to overcome drugs. That's the hardest thing to do, is to get away from the people that you do the drugs with. Because somewhere in your mind, in your sickness and your disease, you think they're your friends. You convince yourself that they're my friends. And to give you this poison, you gotta realize they're not. It takes a while for you to realize you weren't being your friend by being there. And you remove yourself. And it's a big, continuous, wide-spreading spiral. And eventually, man, if you're lucky, you get it out of your system. It's not easy. But who said it was going to be?
We've talked about a number of things. We started off in Peoria, your early childhood, being reared by your grandmother, the evolution into the stand-up comic, the transition into the films, the fact that you now are, by any standard, a megastar, superstar, whatever terms they want to use. How has this all shaped you? How have all of these things come together in some confluence that have made this Richard Pryor that I'm now looking at?
I look at it like this, like a 44-year-old literally burnt up, black, uneducated man living in racist, so-called racist America. How is it possible that I am where I am unless there's a God? What purpose is God's? I have no idea. Just that I'm grateful. There's nothing I could have done to make this happen. It's not just my doing.